25 things you need to know before moving to Dubai. I won't bore you, let's get into it. The first thing is that there are parts that you don't see and you don't hear spoken about so often in Dubai. We always think of Dubai as the luxury place where there's luxury cars, properties, all of the kind of higher end expensive areas. You'll see on the media quite a lot. Palm Jumeirah, Blue Waters, downtown, Business Bay, right? Marina, JBR. What you won't see are the places like Jebel Ali and Al Quoz. Al Quoz is typically a place where there are a lot of labor camps. Dubai is built on the backs of labor workers who come over from India, from Pakistan. A lot of them have left their families behind in their home countries. There is a whole other side to Dubai. When you're on the ground in Dubai, you'll definitely see it a lot more. The next one is water filters. Get a water filter when you come to Dubai. The conditions for water out here is very different to in the UK where I'm from. I'm from Wales where we have soft water. I'm used to that, whereas coming out here the water is very harsh, it's very hard. Although where the water actually comes from, it goes through this amazing process. It's actually when it gets to my supply, we don't know what's in the water. It's advised not to drink the water. So we got a water filter system from Tapi. We actually had it removed because we all had a stomach bug and I was like paranoid. They offered to test the water for us with the municipality. I have the water report that came back and it was okay. In the summer you can get deals on water filters. It lasts for 6 months and then you get a new one every 6 months. You can get it on subscription. We use Tapi, but there are other ones that you can use as well. You should also get shower water filters. My hair looks all right now, but it is so much thinner since I've moved. Next is, it is illegal to talk about the royal family in a negative light. So there are certain things you can say, certain things that you cannot say in accordance with the law. Be careful when you're in public. It is best not to talk about them in public in a negative light. You can talk about them in a positive light, but anything controversial shouldn't be discussed. The next one is people staring. I think it's only in certain situations. I find that when I walk past construction sites, this happens to me daily. So I come out of work and I go to Carrefour opposite the supermarket. People just stare. Like they will look you up and down, follow you all the way. And I notice this happens a lot in the malls as well. And it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable because I'm used to it now, but it just took me a while. Yeah, that's something that happens. I wasn't expecting. A lot of women approach Ella, and I love it. They all say mashallah, that means like God bless or God protect her, something along those lines. I don't speak Arabic. And they're always like, oh mashallah, and I'm like, oh thank you, like that's really sweet. And she's like she's loving it. I have so many people just wanting to come up and hold Ella's hand. It does happen a lot, which I didn't expect. That kind of leads into the next one. You don't actually need to cover up fully. I know you'd think, just based on what I said, that you're getting stared at, that you'd want to cover up. However, it isn't what I thought it would be. When we first moved, I would put things over my shoulders and I felt really self-conscious. I didn't want to disrespect anybody. I kind of thought that like I would need to cover up. However, I've soon noticed that that's not really the case. I wasn't wearing small crop tops and shorts. Like I was wearing like, you know, mid-length dresses, like past the knee. Maybe they'd have like a strap. I would always chuck something on, whereas like you don't need to do that. And I don't now, and not anymore unless I want to. Like you will see people walking around in a bandeau, crop top and like tiny shorts. I do think sometimes I'm like, is that okay? Like, can I wear that? Not that I would. I mean, this girl's not got the body for that. So ladies, you don't need to cover up as much as you think that you do. There are certain places where you'd want to cover up, like government buildings, you have to cover up. If you are in areas like Marina, downtown, touristy areas on the Palm, as long as your private parts are concealed, you're fine. That also goes into government buildings. At some point, you'll probably need to visit an Al-Manara center, a typing center, or maybe you need to go to the police station, I don't know, right? All of these buildings, you have to be covered. Men, that includes you have to wear trousers, you can't wear shorts. So yeah, government buildings, you have to wear long clothing. The next one is that you don't have to put in your own petrol or your own fuel. somebody is paid and employed to do that for you. So you don't have to step foot outside your car. And they come to your window and they ask you what you want. Out here, petrol is called special. So you can just say like full special, and they'll fill up your tank like completely full. What I've noticed as well is that the car will be filling up but the engine's still running. And I will admit, like, I've done that a couple of times, but it still freaks me out because you're not supposed to, right? Another thing you should know is that the laws can change any day. Like one day it could be fine and it wouldn't be against the law. The following day a new law could be released and now suddenly it's against the law. A law came out when we first arrived in Dubai. Children underneath 4 or 5 had to be in a children's pool, even if they were accompanied by an adult. A lot of hotels suffered from this and this became an issue. So then I believe the law was actually removed a couple of months later. It's not like in the UK where there's a big discussion about it for like months or years and then it gets implemented with a lot of notice. Like, it doesn't happen like that. You need to be mindful, you need to be listening, you need to be watching the news to make sure that if a law came out, you need to be aware of it in case you end up breaking the law because you were none the wiser. Another thing you need to know, WhatsApp. It is so common. Like, everybody communicates via WhatsApp. I don't know anybody who's ever texted me. Everybody WhatsApps. You can have 2 types of WhatsApp. So you've got business WhatsApp and then like a personal WhatsApp. I use my personal WhatsApp to message everybody back home on my UK number, and my business WhatsApp is connected to my UAE number. Don't be alarmed if you get asked to send your Emirates ID, your passport, you get asked to send pictures of what you would consider confidential documents. People will ask for them to be sent via WhatsApp in soft copy format, like a picture or a scan, and that's absolutely fine. Like, it is a common practice, even in the government, even in reputable companies, people will ask you to just take a picture of your passport and send it by WhatsApp. When we first arrived, this was a bit like, what the hell? Although they say WhatsApp's encrypted and like no one can get access, they can. However, you don't really have any other choice. It is just what happens here. Similarly, in conjunction to our next thing, your details are not safe. I get so many scam calls all the time. So they can use tech to change the location of where they're calling from. So it might say somebody's calling you from the US, but actually they're calling me from Mumbai, as an example, right? Nowadays, I just don't answer the phone. I just don't bother. Some of the common scams that we've had is, it's Dubai Police, send me an OTP. No one's gonna ask you an OTP, just like a one-time passcode. So if you're worried that it might actually be the police and you're afraid to say no or hang up in case you get in trouble, just say on the phone, I'd rather speak in person, which police stations should I attend? If it's really the police, they will tell you you can go to the police station, not a problem. If it's not the police, they'll normally just hang up, or they'll swear at you, or they'll just say, no, I need OTP, just ignore it, right? This also happens where they'll say they're from the bank. I know somebody, when we arrived in Dubai, she'd got scammed a lot of money. They'd gained access to her account and they were asking her for the OTP. She was giving it about 3 times and they took all of the money out of her account. It doesn't work the same as it does back home in the UK. She had to pay all of that money back herself. If you want to FaceTime family, you have to use a VPN in order for WhatsApp to connect, otherwise it won't work. Video calling is actually not allowed in the UAE, so you will have to get a VPN in order for that to work. We'll also call on BOTM as well, or like BOTM, I don't know how to say it. I've never used it, but I know that's really common. When you're looking for a VPN, you can normally get deals, so there's different ones you can try, ExpressVPN, NordVPN. VPNs are legal, but you cannot use them for illegal activity. Next is, it is really common for people to hire help, right? To pay for nannies, to pay for maids, to pay for people to cook for them, people to clean for them. People will employ full-time drivers that will take them from A to B. And that isn't just people who, like, you know, lifestyle of the rich and famous, super luxury, have lots of money. Families who are similar to us hire nannies because they don't have family and friends out here. And it's a struggle, like it is a struggle. If we wanted a nanny now, Reese would sponsor them on their visa. Like, we'd pay for them to basically live and work here. Or you can hire them through a company like Maid.cc. They pay for the visa and everything. I'm gonna withhold opinions on it. It doesn't work for our family, but I empathize and understand why so many families would have live-in maids who live with them or live-out maids. I get it, I do. I guess whilst we're on that topic, that leads us to the next one. Certain nationalities doing certain jobs. So for nannies, you'll find a lot of African, of Filipina nannies. But if you look at what you pay a maid or a nanny, it is similar to what they would earn in an admin role or in a receptionist role. The salaries for them is very similar. But it's definitely very prevalent that certain nationalities will do certain roles, which was quite surprising when we first moved. It's just not something that you see in the UK, where people are hired on the basis of where they're from, and that also certain nationalities will get paid more because they're from a certain place, whereas someone might get paid less because they're from a certain place. But it's just not something people talk about enough of. It feels uncomfortable to talk about. People should be getting paid for their skills, not based on where they're from. Next then, let's talk about roads. So there are 8-lane roads in Dubai. 8-lane motorways, highways, they are massive and they are scary. The way that you would drive back home in the UK, if you drop that and you keep doing that out here, you will crash. Before you know it, you end up driving like every other person in Dubai. People undertake, cross junctions, like there is so much dangerous driving. And I'm not surprised that I haven't seen that many crashes. I would recommend either downloading Waze or Yango Maps. So Reese and I still use Waze to this day. Like since we've arrived, we use Waze. It helps us knowing the speed limit, know like which lane to get into. I just use it religiously, to be honest. I use it mainly now to like check the journey time because it tells you when you arrive, and normally it's pretty accurate. Speaking of driving, that leads us to the next one. So when you first arrive in Dubai, you can drive on your UK driver's license when you rent a car. Then as soon as you're granted your visa and your residency, you have to switch it over to a UAE license. If you don't, it's against the law and you cannot report any car accidents on the Dubai Police app without having a UAE license. You just take it with you, you go, you do an eye test, they change over they do like a couple of things on the computer, and you're out of there within like half an hour to an hour, and then you get a new UAE driver's license. Next is a lot of people have dodgy boxes. I don't know what else to call it. You can get Disney, you can get pretty much everything that you want. Not saying that we do because not actually allowed. A lot of people will use Amazon Fire Sticks that are jailbroken as well. So next, so any personal injuries that you get from being in a car accident might not be covered on your insurance. Make sure that if you rent a car, you ask the company, do they cover personal injuries for driver and for all passengers? If you buy a car, make sure that the insurance that you take out does the same, covers personal injury, medical bills for driver and all passengers. The next one is car seats. You can order a Kareem Kids on the app and a taxi will appear magically. No, a taxi will come, and then in that taxi they have a car seat. The Cybex car seat is like 360 rotating, so you can be rear facing and forward facing. It was an absolute lifesaver for us. So when we first arrived at the airport off the plane, we got a Kareem Kids. We knew that Ella was safe, but it does only come with one car seat. So just bear that in mind. The next thing you need to know is that people don't put their trolleys back. Now, I think this is because probably the integrity bar is a little bit lower in the UK, where you put £1 in, then you do your shopping, you put your shopping in the car, and then you take the trolley back and you get your £1 back. They tried that in Dubai with the dirham. Didn't work so well. So now they employ people to put your trolleys back for you. There are places you should put your trolley. Ideally, you should take it back. Like I take it back where I can. If I can't, then I push it into one of the allocated bays. But you'd be surprised how many people just put their stuff in the car and push the trolleys. I can just leave them. I had somebody do this to me before. They were in the car a couple of doors down from me and they pushed the trolley by my car. I was reversing and they just left the trolley in front of my car. People also get paid for packing your groceries, packing your shopping. I didn't know what to do in the beginning. I was like, oh no, like I'll do it. Like, and I started packing because I like to put heavy stuff first. And they were like, no, let me do it. And I was like, no, honestly, it's fine. Like I will pack it, don't worry. And now I'm like, yeah, pack it. Go on, pack it. But somebody actually told me and said, look, if everybody did this, I wouldn't have a job. I was like, oh yeah. So I just stopped now. Obviously, I put my trolley back somewhere appropriate. Packing, I don't pack my shopping anymore. I let them do it. So it just gave me a different perspective. Okay, so really important one is banking. If you are not with HSBC in the UK, get a bank account with HSBC before you move out here. If you're with HSBC in Dubai and in the UK, you get free transfers. It'll just save you a lot of money, and you can transfer your money that you've made here all the way into a UK account. Okay, so if you want to buy a car on loan, like a finance agreement, the finance actually comes from a bank, and the bank offer the loan. They will require a salary certificate, and they will also require 3 months pay slip. So if you are looking to buy a car, you might not be able to buy a car until you've worked 3 months in your job and you can get your loan. All right, next, so bills are actually cheaper in Dubai than they are in the UK. We would not afford to live in the UK now. Like, I already know this. Like, we've moved out here. Should we move back home? We're buggered. Bills out here, super cheap, right? D was cheap. Gas, oh my God, gas. Like, we pay like 50 dirhams every couple of months. Like, gas is so cheap. However, Wi-Fi is the most expensive thing. We're paying like 580 a month, which is like £100 just for Wi-Fi. And then if you want to get like a second router, because the bills out here are concrete, so the Wi-Fi signal doesn't travel as well, so then you need to get like 2 routers, one downstairs, one upstairs, which is what we have. Our Wi-Fi supplier is Do. There are 2 different ones, so there's Do and Etisalat, but you can also get a Virgin Wi-Fi. Virgin one is wireless and it's based off like a SIM card, which some people say works fantastic. Some people say it's a little bit unreliable. So just do your research in your building as well. There'll be certain providers, but yeah, it gets expensive. But what isn't expensive though is our next one, which is petrol. Petrol is actually like way cheaper. You can fill your car for way less. I pay like 100 dirhams for a full car, which is, what's that? What's the math of that? Why can't I math? Around £20. It's way cheaper. Anyway, this is what Dubai is built on top of, is gas, petrol, fossil fuels. The next one is the one that I have struggled with like really badly, at least in the beginning, the bugs. I was not prepared for cockroaches. Now, we've not had cockroaches, like I'm talking infestation. That isn't a thing, luckily for us. But it is a thing for so many people, and I'm scared. I'm so scared. The summer when we moved in, this villa was actually vacant for almost like a year. There was a couple of cockroaches, and they like live outside, and they go in your drains, and sometimes they crawl up your drains. I remember walking into the bathroom in the middle of the night, and there was a cockroach by the drain. Luckily, I get the spiders, he gets the cockroaches. There are quite big spiders here as well. And mosquitoes. The mosquitoes, massive. Like, you can visibly see them. But what they'll do in communities is they will fog communities. They will drive down the streets with smoke machines of pesticide. Bear in mind, like, our units are like AC, pulling air from outside. We're breathing that in. I don't know what's worse, bugs or pesticides in the air. Neglect of animals is a thing. There are laws to protect animals. However, so many animals that are just dumped on the streets. There are pedigree animals. There are animals that are being bred. You'll find golden retrievers, poodles, you'll find French bulldogs, you'll find Persian cats, British short hairs, and obviously, like, you know, Moggies as well, which is just like mixed cats, and all of the breeds, like your normal desert doggies as well. People will dump cats that are pregnant and dogs that are pregnant, and a lot of the times they will drive them and dump them in the desert. These were once pets. They will either starve or they will gain really bad infections. I've seen some awful cases, and there are people who are doing this out of the kindness of their hearts and running charities just to look after these animals and collect these animals. We actually have 2 rescue cats. They were lactating mothers and they were dumped with their kittens. The kittens actually got taken by somebody else, and the poor mothers that we now have, Tilly and Safi, were left. Next then is Ramadan is not what it used to be. You used to have to eat within restaurants that had blacked out their windows. You couldn't really eat in public, you couldn't drink in public. I would still recommend not doing that now. However, it is actually said in the Quran that Muslims are actually supposed to fight temptation. And so a lot of people actually don't mind you eating and drinking in front of them, because it's mentioned in the Quran that that will happen and that you can't judge others for that. You should fight the temptation that's there. So different perspective, but actually a lot of people then will just eat and drink in front of Muslims, and they're okay with that. I'm probably going to make a video about Ramadan, because Ramadan is actually coming up soon. If you like this video, then you'll probably like these videos here. Check out my channel. If you like the video, then please like the video below and also subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching.